Shalom Yasharala, this your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone that taught us this truth and our rule well. And salutation, much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson real quick, which is dealing with, just based off of, having some family in town and seeing some of the stuff that they were into as far as, in their day-to-day basis, watching TV and everything, walking in and seeing them, watching certain things. This is like, when you come into this here truth, your eyes, it's like the Matrix. You see things and you immediately go into the scriptures. You immediately start going into what these things are really for. They're looking at these things for entertainment purposes. They don't realize these things and everything else like that, and seeing, some of the stuff that's being portrayed about our people on TV, I'm not going too far into, what was going on. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Let me just jump down. I'll read the scripture so we don't have to get this here. In fact, let me start up here for a little bit. Well, let me just get to the point here because it's not what the video is about. But getting into this is let me read verse 26 to 27. Romans 1 and 26. For this cause the Most High gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use of which that was against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. Now going, and you already understand what that's going into, but we see a lot of our television programming that's like this. And I also had a conversation with the another Jake about this the other day, a Manassite, an older Manassite man, he was talking about how, on TV, and it's funny how in the spirit, this just works out, how all this just came up, yesterday, right? He was having a conversation about, how come they show these types of things on TV and these things, just speaking about how they portray Jake on TV, why don't, every time, and it's funny because, this guy is an older Manassite man, when I say older, he's like a grandfather, put it that way. He has kids that's old enough to have kids, right? He's speaking like, how come, they don't have, on TV, they never portray a so-called black man as an actual so-called black man, with facial hair, dominant. He's always got to be like, basically he was saying soft or all these different things where they got to, dress him up as we were reading here, showing these different things. And, I happen to see the same thing that happened on, like I said, walking in and you see him with some relatives that's watching on TV, like, what the hell y'all watching over here? What's up? Nah, I don't want to watch none of this type of shit. You got this nigga in a wedding dress and some blonde weave and shit going on. Like, what kind of, oh, it's just this and that. Like, it's more about the show than it. Like, well, wait, you have to understand that there's something deeper behind all this stuff. Why you don't see Esau TV shows with Edomites dressed up like this, man. You don't see no TV shows with Ammonites dressed up like this, man. You don't see no other TV shows, no other people where they pushing this here ideology, this agenda and things like that. In the music, the movies, any of these things, man. All right, you can name how many different so-called Jakes, or not so-called Jakes, how many different Jakes or so-called black people have you seen in movies where they have the so-called dress ritual, from the Eddie Murphys, the Medeas, the Kevin Harts, the LeBron James, all these different Jakes they put in the dresses and everything else like that. I can only think of, and this is even questionable if he was an Edomite, all right, putting him into a dress like that, man. All right, the only one I can think of and remember is what's his name? Robin Williams. All right, Mrs. Doubtfire. That's like the only one that comes to the top of my mind with those things. But hey, I just named off so many different Jakes that was put into that their situation. Versus how many Edomites can I think of like that? How many Ammonites can I think of that they done like that? How many Moabites have they done like that, man? All right, so hey, this is one of the things you have to think about, man. All right, why are our people being targeted for these things, and what is it that's really behind all these things, man? All right, you have to understand that, well, let me get into the scriptures that I wanted to get into, all right, because it kind of, it goes into this. This isn't the first time this happened. Now, I'm going to give you a backdrop to what's going on. This is Exodus 1:1. Now, these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob, and they go through the Israelites, right, the tribes, all right. It says, well, let me start at verse 6. And Joseph died and all his brethren and all that generation, all right, so the actual sons of Jacob died, right? But then their descendants were still there. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now, this is what you have to understand, that what's really, really, really going on. Now, you've been here in Babylon for a long enough time that you realize how Babylon get down. You have the story that they put out and that they want you to believe. All right, then there's a story that what really is going on. All right, that they're not even telling you about. But they'll have a different narrative. Just like for instance, I don't even know if we can even speak on that. But hey, well, there was an event that happened in 2001. All right, that we all was led to believe was the predicate of an invasion into Iraq. All right, but then it ultimately changed it to, oh, well, wait a minute, we were going over there because they got weapons of mass destruction. All right, then, oh, actually, we didn't even go over there for neither one of those reasons. We just went over there because we went over there. All right, but back in those days, if you was to ask, like, well, yo, we're not in Iraq because of what happened in 2001, people would look at you crazy, bro. You tripping? You got this going on? You got like, bro, that's what they telling you, but that's not the real reason. All right, and then when you fast forward in time, you're like, that's not the actual reason they was pushing this stuff off. They have a thing called propaganda. All right, and they're propagating ideas and ideologies into your mind frame, man, putting images into your mind frame about a lot of these different things. How come they always show and this Jake was asking me about different relations and everything else like that, man. Why they not like husband and wife type relationships, but why don't they have what's the difference between this here, how do I say, the portrayal of certain things is being put out and everything else like that, man. And it was actually bugging Jake, man. I don't even know what brought up this conversation, because me and him, we don't ever talk about no shit like that, man. We pretty much talk about the job or whatever. He says hello, give me a little bit of water and everything and keep it moving, right? But then for whatever reason, it just came out to he just started speaking on these things, man. But I was like, man, you got to kind of understand the things that's going on, with all these things going into. And then as I was going into well, let me read this first. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. All right. Now the point I was about to make was, you have to understand that the reason that they portray a lot of these things, they all have the same end and goal. All right. The very last thing, like the end result is all the same. Right. So like you can say, like, let's say you go to the prison, right, and look at the people that's in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, if you break, how do they say, you commit crimes, you're gonna go to jail, right? Don't matter if you stole a car, you robbed a bank, you killed somebody, or you beat somebody to death, right? No matter how you got here, it all ended up they all ended up in the same spot, more or less to say. It's pretty much all roads lead to the same spot, type scenario. Now in this here conversation that I was having with this Jake, and then also about the TV shows and everything else like that, it's going through my mind when I'm explaining it to these people. Not trying to go too far and too deep into it with them, but just in my mind, I'm like, look, man, I immediately see what's going on. This ain't nothing new under the sun, man. This is the same thing that was going on in Egypt. It's the same thing that was going on under with Ptolemy and all of them. Making sure our children's they forgot the law, statutes, commandments, so that their souls would be abominable. You go to First Maccabees chapter 1, you can start around verse like 41 on down. All right, but going into these things, it's the same thing, man. They all lead to the same scenario. So as we were just reading Romans 1:1, or Romans chapter 1, dealing with the men with men and women with women, you have the same end game result. All right, as if you have the hip hop, men with men and women with women. All right, you end up with the same result as if you got gangster rap, drill music, right? You get the same result as when you have the drug culture, rapping about drinking lean and doing all kind of drugs. You get the same results when you're talking about smoking the ops. You get the same results when you're talking about doing all kind of other crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? You even see when you somewhat get the same result. When you talk about the men and the women not wanting to deal with each other, as far as these Jake women that so-called calling themselves divestors, wanting to leave Jake men alone and go deal with these other nationalities and things like that, in which we know that these other nationalities ain't bending over backwards to pick up no goddamn Jake women. But you get the same result. But when you look at it from a certain perspective, it's like, wait, who is programming you and telling y'all to do all this stuff? And why is it only pushed into our neighborhoods and our communities so hard? Like I said, you don't see a bunch of damn Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites, and all these getting pushed into be putting into these damn dresses, all right, as a cultural movie that's going to be for their people, all right, for just their people to consume, not just like, oh, well, you just happen to be, in an American, style movie that's going to be for all America, all right. How you have these so-called black movies that they put on BET, like the Players Club type things, those are specifically to be so-called black movies, right? But, in those same types of movies, you see these different exploits being pushed out for Jake. But like I said, all these roads lead to the same ending, all right? And this is what that ending is. Exodus 1 and 9, it says, and behold, or it says, and he said unto him, his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we, right? And now we have this scenario that's going on when you talk about Roe v. Wade, women's choice to their body and their this is that. Jake, y'all shouldn't even be into this damn argument because, for one, and again, this is why women need to be led, but fuck them anyway, man. All right, because they gullible. They're it's the same thing with Eve, man. They over here listening to the damn Esau all damn day long, and our whole goddamn community got destroyed through that, man. Even though we were all under curses and this was gonna happen to us, but it's the same damn thing. Esau on TV talking about hey, we gotta stop these we call them ejections over here, so we're gonna get the video flagged and everything. But they're not talking about for you so-called Jake babies, you know what I'm saying? Or they're not saying this to the Jake people. That, hey, y'all should stop ejecting your babies because it's bad. No, they don't give a damn about you. They're the ones that's pushing and promoting into their music industry and everything else like that of, how do I say, pushing and promoting drill music, killing it and everything. You see how they have in the mindsets of everybody of R. Kelly music stopping, right? They have the push to stop all of that. And guess what? Where R. Kelly music was getting Jakes to do. All right, you realize with the music that's going on nowadays, you don't have no real R&B. No real slow love songs and nothing else like that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, all that's gone. We had the so-called the early 90s where they had a bunch of different R&B groups singing about love songs, going half on the baby and everything else like that, man. They don't have them songs no more. They got a whole bunch of twerking, busted wide open, what they call F and F or whatever. We're going to go over here and pop it over for this Jake, and then we're going to leave him and pop it open for his daddy, and then pop it over for his brother and all his homies. This is what they're pushing and promoting. And then guess what we're going to do? We're going to go and, like the scripture say, let that child be passed through the fires of Molech. So we know and understand that this how do I say, the end process is all the same thing. All right. And it's dealing with, like, we'll read it here. You get the same results. We're going to read this. And as we read this, we're going to look at what all these things that I'm speaking about right now, if they have not you get to the same result. Let's just put it this way. 1 plus 3 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. No matter how you get there, the answer is still 4. So, hey, you got these different things. Hey, we just need to end up with 4 at the end of the day. So if we got to subtract something to get to 4, if we got to add something to get to 4, if we got to, multiply something to get to 4, we just need to end up with 4, right? But this is what we have going on right here, man. All right. So it says, going back into, what I was about, the point I was trying to make was with us multiplying, right? They have, with the Roe v. Wade situation, going into those ejections and things like that, they understand that there's basically a zero population growth amongst Edomites, not just here in America, but all over the place. You have some Edomite nations that are paying people to come over there and impregnate their women. Edomites, of course, right? They're paying people to come over there and impregnate their women. Some countries are paying people to have babies and things like that, man. All right, but not amongst Jakes. They don't have no issue with Jake having children, because just like since the beginning of time when we came over here all the way up until now, Jake has always been the minority over here, man. For one, they try to split us up and, divide and conquer the different tribes and everything. Now, if you put all the tribes together, we definitely the majority that's over here, right? Because you got, I always say it this way, when you look at the Americas, right, North, Central, and South Americas, you have like 2.5 people that's over here, right? And I say that the half of people, because you have the northern and the southern kingdom. So, I mean, it's an extra person, but they all Israelites. So you basically have Jacob and Esau that's over here living predominantly. Of course, you got a couple Moabites here and there, but predominantly you only got Jacob and Esau that's living over here, right? Esau came over here and stole the land from the northern kingdom and brought the southern kingdom over here. Now he reigning over top of both nations. So you really only just got us over here, man. All right. So, and you telling me that Esau came over here and they now overpopulate? First of all, the scriptures say Jacob is of the sand of the sea, right? But then Esau came over here to a place that was fully inhabited by Northern Kingdom Jakes, even though they wound up exterminating off a lot of them, right? But then they brought over Southern Kingdom Jakes, all right? And then they would, over time, populate. Now, even looking at the plantations and things, look at the slave ships, first of all, man. All right, were there more Edomites on the slave ships, or were there more Jakes that was on the slave ships, man? All right, on these plantations, were there more Jakes on a plantation, or were there more Edomites living on a plantation, man? All right, so, hey, you just look at these scenarios. Look at modern days today, man. All right, you go into these households in these neighborhoods. Guess what? Edomites, they live in bigger houses. They got 4 and 5 bedroom houses. But they got like 3 guest bedrooms in their houses, man. Jake might be living in a 2-bedroom house, but with 6 people living up in there, man. All right, so hey, we still overpopulate them to the same very day. But hey, we're at the point now to where they're having a zero population growth, and what they have a term called the browning of America. All right, this was something that was going on. What was 2008, 9, 10, around that area or whatever. They was talking about the browning of America. How so many years into the future, the Edomites would basically be a minority, which they've already been a minority over here. But they saying that Jake is coming up, and they gotta let's read this verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, all right, they join unto their enemies and fight against us. And so let us get them up out of the land. So this is the same thing that they have going on. So now let us deal wisely with them. Think about all of the different wise ways that they deal with our people, and they're keeping our people, how do I say, quote unquote, chopped down. Now let's look at the Northern Kingdom, right? One of the things that they do with the Northern Kingdom, you'll see this a lot of the times, is they'll make them feel like Ephraim, the Northern Kingdom as a whole, right? They like to, associate themselves more with being Edomites than they do of being Israelites. Not just saying like, quote unquote, I identify as an Israelite, but you'll see a lot of these damn Latinos and things like that, or even Native Americans try to so-called pass as being Edomites or white people. In fact, the Manassite that I was talking to the other day that I was just letting you know about, like, he was telling me this here story. He was like, I go certain places and do certain things, and people, these Edomites, they accept me. He didn't use the word Edomite, but these white folks, they would accept me and everything else like that. But when they find out my last name, which is a Spanish last name, then they all look at me a little different. Then they treat me a little different and everything else like that, man. And I was like, yeah, but see, the fact of the matter is that, they'll try to not to say come over here. A lot of them are already over here, but, they'll try to, so-called try to assimilate and be, act like these folks. I heard another conversation about Dominicans, so-called Dominicans. They'll come over to the mainland of America and everything else like that. And then, they'll say, no, we're so-called, they'll try to claim to be Caucasian and everything else like that. No matter how dark they are, they'll try to still claim to be so-called Caucasian. All right, just so that they don't have to be so-called labeled as quote unquote black or anything else like that, man. But hey, these are the things that they like to do to keep us so-called divided. They want to so-called separate themselves from their own people. You even have like, you'll see some let's say quote unquote Mexicans. All right, a lot of Northern Kingdom, they would love for their, they have a term where they say like, for la raza, para la raza, for the race. All right, going into, hey, we got to keep the race pure, or you're fucking up the race and things like that. Now, they'll never say this when it's talking about if their daughters marry a white man. They don't never say they're messing up the race, right? They all happy. Let their daughter go and marry a black man, all right? Or let their son go and let their son go get a so-called black woman or something like that, man. Then it's an issue. But if it was a so-called white woman that they was getting, or their son was getting or their son was getting a so-called white woman, or their daughter was getting a so-called white man, they all happy with it, man. All right, but then the other way around, it was like, nah, y'all messing up the race and everything else like that, man. All right, but these are the things that have us so-called the mindsets of having us divided amongst one another, man. Thinking that we're better than one another and everything else like that, so that we don't see who we are and who is oppressing us, man. All right, they don't want us to. Hey, we would rather y'all, especially y'all women, to be multiplying with these Edomite men, so we could breed y'all up out of here, man. All right, so hey, you look at a lot of these different devices. Again, putting the dresses on the TV. All right, having them putting this here. They got this new term with Latinx. They don't want to be called Latinas or Latinos because you got to go about with the non-binary ones and this and that. And like, you talk to most so-called Latin people, they don't know or give a fuck about none of that shit. They're like, nah, bro, we Latinos or whatever it is. We don't care about this. Is some narrative that they're pushing onto us. We ain't trying to bring this into our communities like that, man. Y'all are pushing this onto us. But what does that lead off into to your communities when you have your sons going out, marrying their boyfriends, or their daughters out there marrying their wives? What happens to your race at that point in time? You're not having no children at this point in time. So what do you have going on? All right. So this is them dealing wisely with us, man, because they see what's going on. Again, you don't see their children, the same ideology being pushed heavily onto their children. All right. Or there's a video about, it's a TED Talk. I can't even think of the proper name of the video, but why murder is so murder is so something in the hang on. Let me see. Let's see if I can try to find this. But basically, why murder is so much so accepted in to music and everything else like that, man. All right. Let me see. But anyway, let me see. So all right, so it's I guess maybe I'll just have to find it later and then put it, into the later on. But anyway, um, hang on one second. It says Black Murder is Normal, Michael Smith. All right, it's a TED Talk. I would suggest you go and watch that because it breaks down the same thing I'm speaking about here. And they go in there like, look, they can have music being talking about, young black men killing other black men, but it would never be culturally acceptable to have, young white men killing young white men in the music videos or the songs or be even portraying these things. You can have a black rapper talking about killing the biggest drill artist that there is, talking about all this killing, how much of a goon he is, killing other Jakes, but let him make a song about him killing a so-called little white boy or something like that and see, we got to cancel that. They talking about how, you can slip all kind of drugs to Jake women and do all kind of different things. I popped the Molly, gave it to her, put it in her drink and did such on and so forth. That's acceptable. But when one song Rick Ross did, talking about putting a Molly in a white girl drink, all of a sudden he losing endorsement deals and all these other things. All right, because you got to understand what this is all going to, man. They're trying to deal wisely with us till we stop multiplying. The same thing is going on beforehand, man. All right, you go even when well, at this point in time, they kind of understood that there was going to be a so-called leader or a savior to bring them up out of this here scenario, man. All right, you go into when Yahushua was born, man. They knew that there was going to be a savior. So what? They started trying to get rid of these men. Now, look, what's going to happen? Why do they want to get rid of the men and not the women? All right, because for one, we know that the women, they damn easily misled. All right, you as a guy, you can go over there with your mouthpiece and lead these women wherever you want to go. We see it, we in the hookup culture and everything else like that, man. That's why these women always say, all these men ain't never shit. They all this and that. Well, you got, how they say, finessed by some ain't shit nigga, man. All right, you talking about some this, whatever. We're not gonna go too far into that, but hey, you women, y'all all know what it is. All right, but hey, it is what it is. They're able to easily finesse you like that, man. All right, but 1 second. Yeah, but going back into this, not only that they can easily finesse you, they could just, breed with you. If all these Jake women started having babies by Edomite men, all right, all their offsprings would just be Edomite children. All right, then Jake, you know what I'm saying? If Jake men just stop reproducing, hey, they could just get Jake to stop. It would be no more Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of that. But hey, the Lord is not going to allow that to happen. But this is Esau and his futile attempts to try to eradicate Jake, man. There's nothing new under the sun. All right, but hey, look at these here communities that how they have going on. You're going back and forth to breaking down these men. These women say, hey, men ain't shit. Black man ain't got this, ain't got that. We want men. Women want men with power. But guess what they've done to the Jake men? They stripped them from all their power, their resources, their dominion over anything. The Jake men don't have no kind of dominion in their own household, man. All right, they put the woman over top of the man inside their own household, man. Edomite women don't have no dominion over top of their man inside their house, man. All right, whatever the Edomite man tell his wife or his woman, that's what the hell she doing. No questions asked. She don't even say, we want to be having our rights. So we want to be strong. And the only woman that want to be strong, independent, a boss babe, and over top of their man is the Jake women. No other women think like this because, hey, the Edomite women, they be like, well, shit, my man in power anyway, so we all good. We straight. But they've taken the resources and the powers away from these Jake men, all right, and the dominion, away from us. So now how do our women look at us, man? All right, and in reality, we still have these other nations' women that's flocking to us at this point in time, man. All right, but they can see what's popping off, what's about to be happening anyway for us. But going back into dividing up our households, man. Of course, we're under these curses and everything else like that. But as you see this here stuff being pushed onto our communities heavily right now, the drugs, the violence, the hip hop, the rap, all this here madness is being pushed upon our the LG, the community, put it that way. All this here stuff that's being pushed, they've hijacked the Black Lives Matter movement, which it wasn't created by us anyway. All right, they put this on us. George Soros and them put this on us. But now the core, how they say, the core tenets of that is all what the community is speaking about. Now, I'm not talking about the so-called black community. I'm talking about that, that colorful community, the rainbow colorful community, right? That's the same thing. We don't, we no longer support the nuclear family. We support, the community and their guidelines and everything. So if we was all falling under that, what would happen to the so-called black community? You wouldn't have no more reproduction. All right. Another thing the Most High said unto us, be fruitful and multiply. All right. Not only just multiplying children, but with the resources, man. What do you have? Go out there, be fruitful and multiply. Nah, Jake want to go out here and go work for the so-called white man and get what the so-called white man is going to give to him instead of going and trying to, come up and multiply his own resources, man. All right, so Jake has been fully, not to say eradicated or fully drained of all his resources, his power, and all these different things. But look at what the results have how do I say? With the, well, not to say with the results, because it's actually the opposite of that. We still out here multiplying, but this is what Esau's trying to have happen. All right, let's read that again. All right, verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, it says, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh the treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. Not and they have us like that, where Jake men will be working, like scripts say, you work, but you put them into bags as if they got holes into them, man. No matter how hard we try to work and how much we try to amass, we never really come out on top. Now the Jake men, now when you look at the statistics, they're saying Jake women are making more now than Jake men. All right, they're more college educated. There's a reason why they push for them to have college educations, giving them jobs. All right, over the Jake men. All right, so now that they have all this money and all these resources, now what are these women looking at? We want a man that's gonna have more than us. He got to come to the table with this and that. This is, all these. How do I say? Not to say true, but high expectations that you can't really land with. Put it that way. All right, and at the same time, they're giving them these unattainable image. Oh, they need to be making six figures of this and that. Hey, most Americans don't even make over six figures, man. All right, or six figures at all. All right, but this is the stuff that they're putting into their mindset. And what do you have at the end of the day? No more reproduction. All right. So it says, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. All right, and that's another thing, another side note that happens alongside, but that the more, the more of the affliction that happens, the more, even even to this here day, right? You see Jake Monday through Friday catching hell in the damn, at the workplace and everything else like that. Come Saturday night and everything, where's Jake at? In the club, trying to go get some box, stressed out, trying to go get some box and everything, and wind up, we see it, keep multiplying, man. All right, how you got all these damn babies being born in the hood? It wasn't because they was in loving relationships, a husband and wives. A lot of them being born out of wedlock, all right? And they trying to go over there and release some stress, all right? Same thing that you have going on. But it says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And it says, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, and in mortar and in brick and all the manner of service, and in the fields and all their service, wherein they were made to serve with rigor. Now going into this, the same thing you have going on, man. Making Jake's lives a living hell. Look at what the so-called Jake man is going through, man. They no longer have the the power over their own household, their own children, their own women. All right, all these different things. They don't have these here powers anymore, man. All right, Jake man don't have no, you see your son going to school, get indoctrinated, and they tell him to put a dress on or something like that, and you come home, you try to set him straight. There's a problem with you. They're going to send defects to come and take your damn child. All right, your woman come home, or your woman, you go to work, and you come home, and your woman getting her cheeks clapped by somebody else, and she can wind up putting charges on you, telling you all these different things is going on, man. All right, so hey, this is what's going on, man. You got Jake into these here positions. And you wonder why Jake is, how do I say, as not a collective, but us as a community are in the situation that we're into, man. All these things that they're doing to us is giving us, how do I say, it's putting us into a position to where we wouldn't multiply. It's like an extermination, one way or the other. Hey, we don't give a damn how we got to do it. So look, you even have Esau that's like, look, we got to, how they say, population reduction. Some of them are going to get killed off from, cancer from cigarettes. Some of them are going to get it from high diabetes from the stuff that they eating. Some of them going to die in car accidents. We give them these super fast cars. Some of them going to die of freak accidents. Some of them going to die on a job site. Some of them going to die this way. But the point is, they all ending up in the grave. We don't give a damn how it happens, but we know we ain't going to catch them all in one boat. We're going to give it to them all these different ways. But this is nothing new that's been going on, man. This is the divide and conquer, and the the destruction, the slow chipping away of our people, man. Because they can't just flat out come out and say, you know what, we're going to war with you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because then Jake would just band together and just duke it out with them and wind up overcoming them. But slowly but surely, they have Jake that's over here doing these things unto Jake, man. All right, the love of many is waxing cold, man. All right, you have men going with men, women with women. All right, you got the natural affection, waxing cold. All right, they ain't loving each other no more. All right, men and women ain't loving each other no more. People don't want to be in families no more. And don't nobody, you listen to most men nowadays, they don't want to get married. Women don't want to go get married. They don't want to have families no more. I don't want no damn husband or nothing like that. I just want the baby and everything else like that, man. All right, and these men, I don't want to go get married. Well, look, now we don't have no sense of community. Our whole community as a whole has been destroyed, man. All right, and now who is actually benefiting from all these things, man? All right, these women that's going out here being pushed this here Brittany Renner lifestyle, being free and promiscuous and having all this. Who's actually winning from this? Is this actually Amber Rose, all these women? Are they actually winning? Are they actually benefiting from any of these things or no? The government and the system and these corporations benefiting from it because guess what? Now she's getting paid child support. The government is taxing that child support, getting a piece of that. All right, you out here consuming and going, you getting all this here money from these men's and everything else like that. Now you just going out there shopping and doing whatever you want to go and do. So they making all this here money off of it, and who's losing? We don't have a sense of community. All right, you ain't no more grandmamas, big mamas to be able to pass things down generationally, cookbooks and other information and things like that because you don't even have a two-parent household, man. All right, most of the people that's in our communities is being raised up by single mothers that don't know shit, man. All right, and now you have a generation of a bunch of thoughts and twerkers and all kind of things like that, man. All right, we don't even have you can't even say nowadays that our children are being born with actual mothers anymore, man. All they want to be is a goddamn Instagram thought and everything else like that. Nah, I just had a baby, but I'm going to still be out here clapping cheeks and twerking and everything. You see so many damn videos of these women getting caught up twerking and clapping cheeks online and everything else like that with the baby in the video or having the baby hold up the damn camera for them, man. All right, but this is what our communities have become. Not because of accident or anything else like that. Not because it's a new time, it's a new age and modernization. No, this is all being pushed upon us, man. The Pharaoh is trying to deal wisely with us so that, hey, a house divided cannot stand. All right, they know what time it is, man. But then again, just same like when Moses was about to be born, like when Yahushua was about to be born. Hey, you have the prophets that's being born right about now that's being raised up. All right, the prophets that's being born right now that's raising a vibration on this here earth that's called on the names of Yahweh and Yahushua that Esau's trying to stop from happening, man. So, hey, this is nothing new that's going on the face of the earth. So when you see these things from this here perspective, next time you see some chicks on them rap videos clapping cheeks and everything else like that are in the streets, instead of saying just let her live her life, that's her body, her freedom, and her all these different things is going on, man. They speaking my body, my choice, but when they were trying to put that tequila shot up inside of you, it wasn't your body, your choice, man. All right, but but the next time you see these types of things and men sleeping with men and women with women on the TV shows, on our TV shows, men in dresses, all right, the drill music and everything else like that, the drug culture being pushed on our children, ask yourself what's the end result. Where is the child left in that scenario, man? How are these children being raised up? How are these children going to fare off if they're being born? They're like they had a term back in the days called crack babies, man. Nowadays, what happens if you have children and the fathers is all on lean, all right, on all kind of drugs, on Percocets and everything else like that, and the mama's just in the strip club, she an IG model, got her OnlyFans and everything else like that. What kind of lifestyle you think she's gonna be training up and teaching her daughters if she on OnlyFans clapping cheeks and things like that, man? All right, if your child is being born up in the household and ain't never seen their father because it was just a one night stand, and the baby mama's like, well, your daddy ain't shit anyway. This nigga dead or whatever. He don't want you, man. What do you think that child's gonna grow up like? Not having a father at all in their lifestyle, or in their life at all, man. What do you think that they're going to perpetuate in the next generation and so on and so forth, man? So, hey, as we can see, the Pharaoh, the new modern day Pharaoh has dealt wisely with us. But, hey, it's only through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua that the men of the Lord is waking up. All right, we're trying to get our house in order as best as possible, even though we're not going to make anything perfect on this here side. The Most High is going to do that when, you reading Isaiah 60 and all those different things like that. We know when we get into the kingdom of heaven, things is going to be like that. But just, be mindful of these things. And every time you look up and you see these different TV shows, these hip-hop artists, the people that they're signing, they're not signing no hip-hop artists that's telling you about being an Israelite and build our communities and everything. They signing people that's telling you to destroy your communities. Every hip-hop or rap artist that you're seeing being signed right now is all pushing the same agenda. Destroy your community, man. Destroy your community. Kill off your community. This is all they're pushing and promoting. All the big screen TV shows and movies and things like that that's getting promotion is doing. What are they pushing and promoting? Destroy your community. Destroy your community. Destroy your community, man. All right. And so, hey, and guess what? Esau is using Jake to do all these things. So at the end all be all, they're like, well, we didn't make y'all do this. Y'all did this on your own. The TV shows that y'all was watching, it wasn't Edomite kids on a TV or on the radio talking about some drill, kill. No, it was Jake's on the radio doing all those things. It wasn't Esau. So, hey, this is where they got us right about now, man. This is what goes back up to let us deal wisely with them, man. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I'm going to say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rakakudash, double honor to the apostle and the elders of the great millstone that taught us this truth and that we're well. And salutation, much love for you. I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.